Apparently, this person decided to end a relationship with the friend that they were close to over politics, and it has something to do with Charlie Kirk. Now, me personally, I'm not crazy political. I consider myself to be a person that has goals, and if you're a person that's smart, I'm a curious person too. And if you can teach me something and you're nice to me, I'm willing to work with pretty much anybody as long as it gets me closer to my goals. I know other people who tend to be more productive people tend to think that way too. But when it comes to politics, especially in the modern sense, especially nowadays, because things are so polarized and becoming more so, especially as of late, there are a lot of people who take things personally. They believe that because you think of things differently, that means you don't like them as a person or you view them as lesser than as a person. For example, like I am not pro-abortion. I believe that 97% of abortion just happens because people are being sexually irresponsible, and because because a baby is a natural consequence of having sex, I think that as a grown adult, you should take on your responsibility and your consequence of doing things in the way that you are doing them. But if you tell that to certain people because of how they've been conditioned to think about things, they'll think that that means that you hate them. But the truth of the matter is, if I were to meet a person that was thinking about getting an abortion, obviously I would tell them my views and I would tell them why I think that they shouldn't. I believe that life is sacred. I believe in human potential. And I would and if they did get an abortion, that I wouldn't necessarily treat them differently. It would just be something that I disagree with that they did. That's how I more see politics. I don't see politicians as somebody that's going to change my life. I believe that I'm going to have more impact on my life than any policy or any politician. And for people who make politics the center of their life, I think that you're not even the main character in your own movie, and you're potentially ruining relationships that could be fruitful with people that treat you well for people that don't even care about you, that are probably pushing things that they don't even believe in. They just want to get votes from other people. But let's go ahead and get right to the video and see what she has to say about it.
I ended my first friendship over politics. In fact, over Charlie Kirk. And it's kind of like, it's messed me up, truly. It's like, whoo. I know a lot of y'all are going to be like, you just ended them now? Like, you're late. I've been ending them since 2016. Baby, I insulate myself from quite a bit just because my nerves are bad, child, and I have to just keep my head screwed on tightly so that I can care for my children, my family, and keep it moving. Because your girl my nerves are bad. So what had happened was...
Well, to be honest, once you start a family, your circle kind of closes a little bit. They become your number one priority, and I think that that's a good thing. I don't think that's a bad thing.
I was posting in my stories that Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to try to keep it as brief as I can. I was posting in my stories that Charlie Kirk was not a good person, right? And this being a friend of mine asked, who was white, asked, and we're not best friends, but we talk. I went to visit her when she had her baby not too long ago and held the baby, kissed the baby, smelled the baby, loved the baby. And so this was a friend who I've known maybe like 7-8 years. Might be a little longer than that, but that's around the time that I can remember anyway, child. I'm old. And she asked, well, why was he not a good person? Can you give examples of why this person wasn't a good person? So ordinarily, if this were a stranger, I wouldn't have done any of this kind of labor. But for a friend, I'm thinking this is my friend who's willing, because I didn't even realize or really pay attention to her political leanings. I know. I should have. I'm dumb. I'm stupid. I'm slow. All of the things. I know. Thank you. Let me just say it first before y'all come in here yelling at me. Okay, thanks. Already heard it from my mom today. So thanks. Thank you. And so so I sent her the video of what Charlie Kirk had to say about Michelle Obama and Joy Reid and, so on and so forth.
Well, they
and her response to that was, and if you don't know what he said, do your work, do your research.
The only thing I remember him saying about like Michelle Obama and Joy Reid from like a small clip, because to be honest, most of the time I seen Charlie Kirk, it was in small clips on like Instagram and TikTok. The only thing I seen him say about them two in particular was that they were unqualified.
And her response to that was, just because first of all, she said, I don't know who these people are. I'm like, how do you not know who a Supreme Court justice is? Like, how are you making informed decisions about someone's political viewpoint and whether or not you agree with it if you don't even know who he's talking about when he's saying these awful things?
I don't think that she's saying that she agrees with him by saying that he's not a bad person. Because me personally, I don't treat people, I don't think a person is a good or a bad person based on what they think. I think a person is a good or a bad person based on what they do. So I'm assuming from her perspective, and I could be wrong here, she's not saying she agrees with everything that he's ever said because she believes that he shouldn't have been killed in the way that he was. She's just saying that it's horrible, it's horrific that a man had to be killed in front of his wife and daughter. For some reason nowadays when you say that, people just equate that to you agree with everything this person said. And you're like, no, I don't think that people should die over what they say. And as a response, they tell you a bunch of things that he said and expect you to change your mind about what you just said. But it's like, no, I don't think you're understanding what I'm saying. I don't care what he thinks or what he said. I don't think people are supposed to die for what they say. I think people can get killed for what they do. Like when I was growing up, especially in school and high school, when we would have these debates on execution, the more liberal or democratic stance would be that we shouldn't execute people. Even if they did heinous crimes, they would say that we shouldn't execute people. Fast forward to 2025, now people are justifying political assassinations based on what a person is saying. And that was just so alien to what a liberal was just 10 or 15 years ago. But there are some people who believe that speech is violence, and I think that they think that so they can justify being violent when somebody says something. And I think that they want to be violent when people say things because they can't really use logic to balance their arguments oftentimes. So if I had to make a guess, I'm assuming that she's not saying she agrees with everything that he's saying. She's probably just saying it's bad that he died in the manner that he did, and he was a husband and a father, and he took care of the people around him, and to me, that equates as a good person.
She didn't know anybody but Michelle Obama, but still, not agreeing with affirmative action doesn't make you racist. This was her perception. And I didn't immediately end the relationship in that particular moment. I took a minute. I was like, listen, you can look, I'm mad I even did this. I was like, but you can look up their resumes. Like, he is saying these people were not worthy of their jobs. And the only thing these women have in common is that they look like me. They're black women. So what do you call that when somebody says someone is not worthy because they have a skin complexion or skin color that's different from yours?
I don't think he was saying it because of their skin complexion. I think that in that case, he was saying it because their qualifications, from his opinion, though. And he can have that opinion. So that's his opinion.
It is. And you are spreading this message. I mean, DEI policies were rescinded under Trump's administration.
Well, from the studies that I've seen, white women were the main beneficiaries of DEI. So it was like white women, Asian women, Hispanic women, like disabled people, LGBTQ people. And then you had like black women somewhere down there on that list. And then you had black men even further down on that list. I'm pretty sure Indian folks were in there too before black women. So the main beneficiaries of DEI, it wasn't even black people in general. And one, that's why I think it's funny that black women go so hard for it, or black people in general go so hard for it. But two, I think it's funny also on the conservative side that when it's like they're talking about DEI hires, they're oftentimes talking about black people instead of white women, because white women were the main beneficiaries of it. I more agree with the merit-based system. The person who's best for the job is probably going to get the job. Now, will that mean that some people may miss out on certain opportunities? Sure, whatever. But I also don't think that you should want to be anywhere where people don't want you. So from my perspective, everything that I've got, I had to work hard for. I found my own opportunities. I've worked hard for my opportunities, and it's been fruitful for me. So for me to say anything other than that would be disingenuous, because I can only promote what's worked for me. And what's worked for me the most is aggressively looking for opportunities, being super energetic when the opportunity presents itself, and being prepared for the opportunity when it comes.
Through people supporting rhetoric like this that's being spread. So his thoughts were not just opinions. They enacted changes in policy. Companies are being sued federally for still having DEI policy. So these weren't just opinions. These were moving things politically. Changing our lives. Charlie Kirk's words and beliefs were changing the lives of people like me in a negative way. Not for the better. Not making America great again.
She thinks that Charlie Kirk's words are going to have more effect on her life than her behavior and what she does and what she strives to do and her dedication to what she's doing. That's hilarious to me.
For me. And so I in the moment was like, it was like, you really don't see how this is problematic? Like, you really don't get? And I'm like, but you know me. You know me personally. You don't know. You've never met Charlie Kirk. You don't know him from a hole in the wall. And yet and still, you can see the humanity in him, but you don't see it for me.
That's the thing right there. People start to equate belief structures or what a person believes or what they agree with not having humanity or a sense of humanity for the other side. Like somebody will go, "Oh, you don't support LGBTQ people going into the bathroom with your wife and daughter?" And I say no, and then they go, "So that means you hate and you want to kill trans people. Therefore, we're justified in being violent towards you." And I've been seeing that type of mentality growing heavily, and I just don't understand it.
Have it for me. I held your child. I loved you. So the friendship is over. She actually got mad at me because I actually posted about I didn't post all the details. I just said, I wrote on Facebook. I was like, on my Facebook page, I was like, I'm personally hurt that a friend wouldn't even give me the benefit of the doubt and look at what the man has had to say. Like, it was just dismissed. Oh, I don't know who these people are. I just disagree. You can have opinions. It was so dismissive and hurtful. And I wrote that. I said, listen, I was hurt. This friend.
You see how they equate it to violence or some type of physical hurt or harm. It's always that way.
Even give me the benefit of the doubt. So then I got a DM. Like, I didn't even respond fully to the affirmative action comment. I didn't even get there yet. My nervous system was still trying to piece it all together. I get a DM that says, well, I don't appreciate...
How you feel about what they say doesn't reflect their intentions and what they said. So basically, only thing I can control is what I say to you. How you feel about what I say is up to your control. And basically, that's supposed to filter through how I treat you. If you know that I treat you well and I'm a good person, why do you think that something that I'm saying is intentionally trying to be hurtful towards you? But again, at the same time, if this person doesn't want somebody in their life because they have different opinions, that can happen. Like, that's fine also. I just think that it's sad how politics are breaking up friendships and families. I just think that that's weird.
You putting me on blast. First of all, I didn't say your name. I just said my friend hurt my feelings. I can say that on my junk. Like, you already know you hurt my feelings because I told you. I was like, you're not even giving me the benefit of the doubt, the courtesy. You know me personally. Suffice it to say, I didn't sleep too well last night. Because I don't take pleasure. It doesn't feel good. It feels as though we are being forced into a situation where we have to choose between loving people and self-preservation. And that just does not feel normal to me. But I don't really have a choice because the ideology spread by Charlie Kirk was a threat to my life personally. And if you support that ideology, that means you are a threat to my life.
You see how they think about it.
Like, I want to live.
And I'm not like knocking it, but this is how radicalized people have become. They think that if you don't agree with them, you are a threat to their lives. And this is how you can, basically I'm saying this so that you can easier see how these people justify being violent for their belief systems and why it's become so radicalized and why more and more people believe that they can justify violence for their belief systems. It's because they believe genuinely that if you don't agree with them, you are a threat to their being. You're harming them physically.
Peacefully and happily and freely. If you don't want that from me, how can we be friends? It really is like a mind, like it. Yeah. So, congratulations, Charlie Kirk. And what's wild to me is this idea that saying this person was not a good person equates to, oh, I think it's perfectly reasonable that the man should be shot dead in front of his children at a public place. Like, why in the hell would I mean, some people might feel that way. I certainly don't. I don't want to see people killing people in front of children. Yeah.
I think it's because of the timing. I think it's because when you say he's not a good person conveniently the day after he got shot in front of his wife and child, it's just like probably the timing of it. Like if you said that before he died, I'm sure it would go over a lot easier, especially for a lot of people, because a lot of people don't agree with everything Charlie Kirk say. But when you say it around the time after he just got shot in front of his wife and kid, people are going to be a little more sensitive to it, and they're going to see it as potentially you maybe justifying his murder through that sense, especially because there are a lot of people justifying it in that sense. Doesn't mean that it was her intentions, like she's saying. She's not saying that that's okay, and that's something I can agree with. If you just disagree with what he believes, that's fine, but if you're mocking his death or you're justifying his death because of his political opinions when he wasn't doing anything, he was just saying things, well then, I still won't treat you differently as a person, but I think that act, you doing that, reflects on your character, and it lacks humanity in my opinion. I think you lack a little humanity when you're mocking a person who just got assassinated in front of their wife and kids.
That shit was horrible.
It's sad, but it's not really surprising. Let me know in the comments below if this video was a W or L, and give me the HBO special. That's help brother out special. Hit the like and the subscribe button for more content. Till next time.